morning, children. Welcome you all. So, children, in today's class, I am going to start the plant physiology unit. So, in this unit, some of the chapters are deleted and some chapters are there. Even the board has been deleted some chapters and topics in this unit. We are going to deal the whole unit. So, in plant physiology, you come across the transportation in plants, the mineral nutrition, the photosynthesis, respiration, and plant growth and growth regulators. So, you are having these important chapters. So, for the NEET and CET, this unit is very important because many a times the questions came from the photosynthesis, respiration, mineral nutrition, etc. From the competitive point of view, these chapters are very important. So, we are going to deal the whole unit in this plant physiology. So, children, now let us move on to the next unit, the plant physiology. So, you should understand before commencing the class what is this physiology. So, we are dealing with the plant physiology. No, what is plant physiology? So, plant physiology means the study of the living processes. So, in human physiology, animal physiology, we are going to study about the processes that occurs in our body, in the tissue or in the organ or in the organ system. And here also plants are also living, they also has the cells, tissues, organs, isn't it? Only the difference between the animals and the plants is these are unable to move, and there is no that is specified organ systems are absent in the plant body, like the digestive system, respiratory systems, but they also respire, they also take the food, they also digest, they also require energy for various activities. Like human beings, like animals, they also need the energy, and they also break down the food materials. Like human beings and animals, what they do when they take the food, like that they also break the energy and to release the they break the food molecules to release the energy. So that what we observe in the plants like animals, but only the thing is they are unable to move, but they manufacture their own food. That food is utilized. Understand? Absorption of water is also required. Even animals require the water, animals require the food, like that plants also require the food. See, animals require energy, the plants also require energy. We also grow, they also grow. Understand? We also reproduce, those plants also reproduce. So, there is very similarity between the animals and plants in almost all aspects. So, that plant physiology means study of the living processes. What is the living processes? That means the activities and the functions in the body of the organism. So, the study of living processes, the activities and functions that occurs in the body of the organism is physiology, and we are going to deal with the plant physiology. So, it encompasses the processes. What it encompasses? It encompasses the processes like the absorption. See, absorption means what? Absorption of water. Okay, this is one important thing. Absorption of water, the translocation, that is after absorption what happens, the translocation occurs, Translocation. What they translocate? Here in our body, for the transportation of the nutrients, there is a specified fluid, liquid is present. So there is very specific circulatory system is present, through which the circulation of the nutrients, oxygen, removal of carbon dioxide, waste materials occurs in animals, higher animals. Whereas in plants, there is no such circulatory system. Then how they transport these water and minerals? How the food get translocated? That we are going to deal in this chapter. So that is the translocation of water and the minerals. The translocation of the water and minerals. So it includes this, and also the synthesis of food. Synthesis of food. We are unable to synthesize our own food. We are dependent on the plants for our existence, isn't it? So these plants synthesize their own food. That we are going to, it comes where it synthesizes in the leaves particularly where. What happens during the synthesis of the food? So how the food is manufactured, that is the physiological process what we are going to deal in this chapter. Synthesis of food, and after synthesis what happens? The food is utilized and the food is broken down. That is also discussed here, the breakdown of food, the breakdown of food. After breaking the food, what happens? How it breaks? What happens actually? So we eat the food. When we eat the food, where it goes? What happens to the food? Why we crush the food? Why the digestion occurs? After digestion, what happens to this food? When the food enters into the cell, what happens within the cell? Which food molecule enters finally into the cell? And there are major, very important steps that are in the coming chapters. You are going to get how this food is broken down into least substances. That after consuming the food is broken down. After breaking the food, what happens? Where it goes? So that is the release of energy occurs. Release of energy. So release of energy. Why this energy is required? So even the plants, where even they are stagnant in their, they are very permanent in their place, they also require energy, for the cell division, for growth, for development, for flowering. So there are so many, for synthesis of the enzymes, for synthesis of proteins. So for all metabolic activities within the plants also there are metabolic activities, actions occurs within the plant body. For each and every metabolic activity, the plant cells require energy. Understand? So to release that energy, they consume, they break the food and they release the energy. That energy is utilized for various processes. Hormone synthesis, for the transportation of these waters or food materials, they require sometimes energy. For the movement of ions, they require energy. For the synthesis of enzymes, they require energy, isn't it? So the cell division occurs at the tip. What present at the tip of the plant, the meristematic tissues, the meristematic cells, these are actively dividing cells. They require a lot of energy, and that energy that is present in the food is released, and that energy is utilized by various parts of the plant body. So release of energy occurs. This release of energy, later on it is concerned with the growth and the development. So growth and the development. Growth means how the growth occurs. So there are the primary growth, the secondary growth within the plant body. So the first growth that occurs by the apical meristems, that is the primary growth. Later on in dicots, once again the plants at several stages they begin to grow, the secondary growth. Understand? So primary growth increases the plant body in lengthwise, secondary growth increases the plant body in girth, in diameter. So for that the cell should divide. So the cell number should increase, and for that the energy is required. So that is the growth. Development means what? When growth occurs, the plant changes in its characters. Number of leaves, number of branches are produced. When it attains the reproductive phase, it start flowering and it start fruiting. Then it produces the seeds. Then the progenies means the young one, the young plants comes out from the seeds. So continuation of the species occurs by the plant. It produces number of plants. So reproduction. So for all these it requires energy, no? So these all concerned with the plant physiology, that is the living processes, its activities, what are all the activities that the plant do, that is concerned with, and what are all the functions that the plant do or within the plant body by different tissues, organs, cells. We are going to deal these functions, that is the plant physiology. I think you understood this topic, what is plant physiology. Now we shall move on to the next, that is we shall begin the chapter transport in plants. Transport in plant means what? In plant body there is transportation of certain substances like water, minerals, organic compounds, nutrients, hormones, plant growth regulators, etc. So from where they are synthesized, from the synthesis part to the different parts of the plant body where they get utilized or where they get stored. So that is transport of the substances within the plant body where they are synthesized and where they have to be consumed. That we are going to discuss in this chapter. Transportation means there are a lot of substances are transported within the plant body. Water is transported from roots to the tip of the plant to different parts of the plant. So from downward to upward direction. Even along with the water, some minerals are also transported. See the food that is manufactured in the leaf, isn't it? They are called as photosynthetes, or the food that has to be transported from the leaf to the storage parts or different parts of the plant body. Whenever they are required, they have to be retransported. So export and re-export occurs. So this is known as transportation. So transportation in plants means the water is the most important requirement, isn't it, for all the processes. Most important requirement. It is the most important requirement for all physical processes or the physiological process of the plant body. Water is the most important physiological for all the physiological processes. Without water, these physiological processes in any organism will be abruptly disturbed. So for physiological process to happen, the water is very much required, and that water has to be transported to each and every cell, to each and every part of the plant body. Then all the physiological processes are carried out smoothly. Then the question arises, number of questions, how this water reaches to the top of the plant. There are plants of measuring 300 to 400 feet. So against the gravitational force, how this water is transported to the tip of the tree or tip of the plant body. Even against the gravitational force, the water is, there is no any pump or there is no any motor to push the water in the upward direction. So the questions, number of questions arises, how water reaches the top of the tall trees. How water reaches the top of tall trees. So there are trees which measures 300 to 400 feet in its height. So the water get absorbed from the root and it has to be transported to the tip of the plant body. So here the gravitational force will be there. Against the gravitational force, the water should be moved. The water has to be transported. How it occurs? So here nothing, there is no any circulatory system. Due to some pressures, it cannot be pushed, isn't it? So that questions, number of questions arises. Then the next question is, how and why substances move from one cell to the other cell? So even the substances move from one cell to another cell, no? How the substances move from one cell to another cell? Why these substances move? So how and why? How and why the substances move from one cell to other cell. See, one cell is there, next there are number of cells will be there. There is exchange of these substances from one cell to the another cell. How these substances move? And why these substances move? So that we are going to get answer in this, and some other questions, whether all substances move in the similar way or in the same direction, whether all these substances, move in a similar way, in the same way or in the same direction, in the same direction. See these substances, all these substances move in the same similar way or in the same direction. So sometimes in between the cells there is movement of substances in one direction, sometimes in opposite direction, or both the molecules will move irrespective of the other molecules. That we are going to discuss in this unit or in this chapter. Now the next question, so whether metabolic energy is required, so whether these energies are required for the transportation of these substances, nutrients, hormones, regulators, etc., whatever the substances. So whether the metabolic energy is required. So metabolic energy means what? Metabolic energy, that is the energy that during the breaking of the food materials that are released, and these energies are utilized for various metabolic activities within the cell or within the plant body. So for the transportation of the substances, for the movement of these substances, these metabolic energies are required or not. Where these metabolic energies are required, sometimes the energies are utilized in this process, sometimes without using the energy, the transportation of the substances occurs. So that we are going to discuss in this chapter. So whether metabolic energy is required or not. So like there are number of questions arises in our mind when you see or when you observe the plant body in a scientific manner. Number of questions will arise. We are going to get answers for all these type of questions in this chapter. Now the water here moves, see, from the root the water is absorbed and it moves in the plant body to the tip of the plant. There is no any circulatory system. Is there any circulatory system like human beings? So there is no any circulatory system is present to pump or to push these materials. So water is taken up by the roots, isn't it? Water is absorbed by the roots and the water is transported to all the parts of the plant body, to all the parts at the tip of the plant body. So water is absorbed by the roots and transported to the tip or to all the parts of the plant, to all the parts of the plant. So the water that is absorbed by the roots along with the minerals, they have to reach the tip of the plant body and to all the parts of the plant body. That in the plant we shall see the not only the water and minerals, there is the transportation of the photosynthetes. Photosynthetes means what? During photosynthesis the food is manufactured in the leaf, that is called as photosynthetes. Photosynthetes means what? The food that is synthesized. The food that is synthesized in leaves. So the food that is synthesized in the leaves, it has to be transported in the downward region, downwardly, and it is stored in the storage organs. Stored in storage organs, or it is utilized, and after some time the food that is stored in the storage organs has to be re-exported. Re-exported means what? So from the storage organs, wherever the food that is required, it has to be supplied. So that is re-exported to the growing parts, to the fruits, to the seeds, etc. So that is the food that is synthesized in the leaf, transported in the downward manner, and it is stored in the storage organs, either in the roots or in the stems, or in the, there are specialized stems or the roots that occurs, and whenever these food substances are required, they are re-exported or re-transported to the growing tips. So that occurs within the plant body. The substances need to be transported. What are the substances that are transported within the plant body? The substances that are need to be transported are the water, the minerals, the organic compounds, see, the hormones and the plant growth regulators. All these substances are transported within the plant body. What substances are transported? What substances are transported within the plant body? The substances that are transported are the water, the minerals, organic compounds, then the hormones. Hormones are, they are also known as plant growth regulators. So all these substances has to be transported. There is a need of transportation of these substances from one part to other part. Water and minerals, they are transported from the soil and they get absorbed by the roots, and from the root they are transported in the upward direction. And see these, the organic compounds, so they are synthesized at the leaves and they are transported to different parts of the plant body. And the hormones or the plant growth regulators that are synthesized in some parts, usually some are in the roots, some synthesized at the tip. So in different parts of the plant body they are to be transported to the required ends or the required part of the plant body. So over a small distance of these substances moves by simple diffusion. So over a short distance, over a small distance, for a short distance, to a very small distance, the transportation of these substances occurs by diffusion. Over a small distance, these substances moves by diffusion, So without the expenditure of energy, the simple diffusion occurs to a short distance, and sometimes for the transportation of these substances the energy is required. And by cytoplasmic streaming also, for a short distance, by cytoplasmic streaming. So these two require the active transport. So diffusion and cytoplasmic streaming. Diffusion means later on in the coming chapters what means of transport is there. There you will come to know what is diffusion. And cytoplasmic streaming means what? Within the cell, you know, the cytoplasm is there, cytosol or cytoplasm. So within the cytoplasm there is the streaming of these substances. So the streaming occurs in the cell, within the cell. And there are cell organelles are there in the cell, no, like mitochondria, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, understand, lysosomes. So some substances like ergastic substances, etc. All these are the cell organelles. They also require these nutrients, isn't it? And there, see, when the cell take up the glucose, that glucose is broken down where? In the cytoplasm. Later on, that broken down particles enters into the mitochondria, and within the mitochondria there is breakdown or the lysis occurs to release energy. How these mitochondria take up or absorb those substances? By cytoplasmic streaming. Through the cytoplasmic streaming, when these food molecules comes in contact with these cell organelles, they absorb and they make the next process. The next actions or functions are done by these cell organelles. So within the cell there is a cytoplasmic streaming. Through the cytoplasmic streaming to a short distance, these substances are moved by active transport. It requires energy. Active transport, passive transport, you will come to know. I think already in your that is high school level you heard this term, that is active and passive, isn't it? So requires energy for the transportation of these substances. So over a small distance the transportation occurs by these. So transport over long distance, okay, within the cell or in between the cell to a short distance, it occurs by cytoplasmic streaming or by diffusion. The diffusion and cytoplasmic streaming cannot supply these waters, minerals, food materials to a long distance, you know. Then what makes? The transportation to a long distance occurs through the vascular system. Understand? Long distance transportation. Over a long distance transportation, occurs by vascular system. Vascular system means what? The vascular system consists of the xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem. So the xylem and phloem are called as the vascular tissues. Vascular, vasculature, see all these plants from pteridophytes, the gymnosperms, angiosperms, they are called as vascular plants. Bryophytes, algae, understand, blue-green algae, all these, these are the plants without vasculature. There is no xylem and phloem. So vascular tissues can be seen in the plant body above the pteridophytes. So these plants are called as vascular plants. So these tissues are vascular tissues. What are these tissues? Xylem. So the xylem, xylose means what? Wood. Understand? So the Nageli coined the term, the xylem. So xylem usually transport the water and minerals in upward direction. So the transportation in the xylem is unidirectional. Water and minerals are transported in one direction, that is unidirectional transport occurs in the xylem. So the xylem consists of 4 different types of, it is a complex tissue, in tissue systems within the plant body there are different types of tissue systems: epidermal tissue system, ground tissue system, vascular tissue system, isn't it? We classify, and in that there are different tissues: the parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem, phloem. So the simple permanent tissues, they are the simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues are parenchyma, collenchyma and the sclerenchyma. They are simple, very in their structure they have the simple organizations. So they are called as simple tissues. Complex tissues, so there is complexity in their structures. So where the different types of cells are gathered together to form the tissues. There in the simple tissues only one type of cells are gathered together and they form tissues and they perform a specific or a definite function. They are called as simple tissues. Complex tissues, meristematic tissues, isn't it? We classify the tissue systems into different types. So meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues again we classify into different types: apical meristem, lateral meristems, intercalary meristems, isn't it? And again we classify the first form or lateral form: primary meristem, secondary meristems. On the basis of where these meristems are organized in the plant body, we classify into apical meristem, intercalary meristem and the lateral meristems. So like that, in the that is permanent tissues we classify simple and complex. In simple we come across parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. In complex there are 2, xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem. So all these are the permanent tissues only. Permanent tissues. They are formed from the apical meristems. And later on they get differentiated and remains permanently. They attain the permanent structure within the plant body and they start performing a definite function assigned to them. So they are called as the simple or complex tissues. So the xylem is a complex tissue. In the xylem there are 4 different types of cells. What are those 4? So the xylem consists of the vessels, that is tracheids, tracheae, vessels, xylem parenchyma, tracheae, then the xylem fibers. So among these, see the xylem vessels, the xylem parenchyma, this one and this one and this one, all these are the dead cells, only the living is this one. So the living permanent tissue is the xylem parenchyma. The vessels, the tracheae, the xylem fibers, all these are dead. Only the living tissue that is present in the xylem is xylem parenchyma. All these other three are the dead ones. So through which the vessels and these tracheas, these are the pipe-like structures. If they have the hollow cavity inside, there is an empty cavity is present through which the water and minerals are transported. So that's why they are called as vascular tissues. So the sclerenchyma fibers, xylem fibers means what? They are nothing but the sclerenchyma fibers that are associated with the xylem. So they are called as the xylem fibers. Xylem parenchyma, these are the parenchyma cells that are associated with the xylem. So they are called as the xylem parenchyma cells. Now the phloem, like that the phloem is a food conducting tissue. It is water conducting tissue. We call it as the xylem as water conducting. Conduct means what? Transporting, water conducting tissue. Phloem is called as the food conducting tissue. So the phloem is the food conducting tissue and the xylem is the water conducting tissue. The phloem is also a complex tissue which is made up of 4 different types of cells. What are these 4 different types of cells? The sieve cells or the sieve tubes. Sieve cells are present in the gymnosperms. Here the sieve tubes. Phloem, parenchyma, phloem, fibers, then phloem, that is companion cell. So there are 4 different types of cells that are associated in the phloem. So it is a complexity in their structure. Sieve tubes, phloem, parenchyma and companion cells. All these 3 cells are living. Only the dead one is the phloem. It is the dead. So the xylem fiber, they are nothing but the sclerenchyma fibers which are dead and are associated with the phloem, and the companion cell, phloem, parenchyma, sieve tubes, they are living. So all these 3 cells and along with the dead cell, they are gathered together to form a complex tissue that we can see. So that is over a long distance, transportation of the food, water, minerals, etc. occurs by this vascular tissue. So the vascular system is present in the plants, in angiosperms, in gymnosperms and also in pteridophytes we come across these vascular tissues. And this process of translocation of these substances through vascular tissues is known as translocation. Translocation. So over a long distance, the transportation proceeds through vascular system. Over a long distance, the transportation proceeds through vascular system. Vascular system means that is by xylem and phloem. So over a long distance, the transportation proceeds through the vascular tissues or vascular system by xylem and phloem, and this process is called translocation. So translocate, they are transferred from one place to the other place. So that is the translocation. Now the direction of transport. How this transport occurs, in what direction the transport occurs. So usually by the xylem the transportation is unidirectional transport. directional transport. So unidirectional transport occurs by xylem. So the transport occurs within the xylem, that is the water and minerals are transported. Water and minerals are transported unidirectionally through the xylem. So the unidirectional transport occurs, and within the plant body we come across the multidirectional transport also. Multi-directional transport. So multi-directional transport in the upward direction and also in the downward direction. So that is multi-directional transport. Multi-directional transport, usually the organic substances or organic compounds and the mineral nutrients and the substances that are transported in upward to downward and from downward to different directions. So the transportation is called as multi-directional transport. The food that is synthesized in the leaves is transported downwardly and it is stored in the storage organ. Whenever they are required, they are transported different parts of the plant body in different directions. That is multi-directional transport. Downwardly, upwardly, laterally, they can be transported. Multi-directional transportation occurs. So organic compounds from the photosynthetic leaves. See, organic compounds from the photosynthetic leaves are exported to all the parts of the plant body, including the storage organ, and from the storage organs, these are transported to different parts of the plant body. Understand? Organic compounds that are synthesized in the leaves by photosynthesis transported to different parts are exported to all the parts of the plant body, and including the storage organs also, and from the storage organs again they are re-exported. Whenever they are required, they are re-exported to different parts of the plant body. So when any plant undergoes senescence, senescence means what? That is old age. The leaf, the branch, understand? Even the fruit, the flowers, etc. The branches will fall, the leaf will fall, the twigs will fall. So senescence occurs. Senescence means what? Growing old. The leaf, when they are young, they are green. After becoming old, they turn yellow. So that is, they are becoming old. At the time of senescence, the nutrients or the compounds or the hormones that are present within the plant body, minerals and hormones usually that are present in the senescent parts of the plant body like leaf, twigs, branches, etc. They are withdrawn from the senescent parts of the plant body and they are transported through the growing apexes or growing tips where they are required. So the plant parts that undergo senescence, so from the senescent parts these nutrients are withdrawn. Withdrawn means what? They are reabsorbed back into the plant body and they are transported to the required regions. That is usually the growing apexes, because when the plants undergo senescence, along with the senescent plant, these nutrients, hormones, etc., they are lost. They simply diffuse in the soil to avoid that from the senescent part these nutrients and also these hormones are withdrawn from the plant body and they are transported to the required regions. That also occurs within the plant body. Hormones, PGRs and some other chemicals like the stimuli, they are also transported. Hormones, PGRs. PGRs means what? Plant growth regulators and some chemical stimuli. Some chemical stimuli. They are transported strictly in a polarized manner. Transported in a polarized manner, or they are transported in a unidirectional manner. Polarized means what? So polarity, that is later on in the coming chapters you will where the stimulus of the nerve or the muscle fiber occurs. No, there you are going to discuss about this polarity. Polarized, see, at some condition at the resting potential there is polarity negative, inside there will be positive. So the polarized conditions. So in a polarized manner or in an unidirectional manner, these are transported. Hormones and PGRs, where they are synthesized from the synthesized end to the required end, these are to be transported. So there is a transportation of unidirectional and also multidirectional, and sometimes from the senescent parts where the plant parts are becoming old and they are about to fall, there they are withdrawn back from the plant parts to the plant body and they are supplied to various parts. So the food materials, the organic compounds, the water, minerals, they are totally transported within the plant body from root to the tip and from tip to the root. So this is the transport in plant and what are the means of transport? What are the ways? Means by through which these minerals, nutrients, food materials, by which mechanism they are transported. That we are going to discuss in the coming class. Okay, thank you.